You live on a planet where water falls from the sky, and you think that's normal. Somewhere out there, it rains liquid iron. Somewhere else, a planet is older than most of the stars you can see. And somewhere right now, a world is being erased, evaporating into its own star, orbit by orbit, in real time. Here are 10 planets that broke the rules. Number 10. TRES 2b. The planet that swallows light. Coal reflects 5% of the light that hits it. Black acrylic paint reflects about the same. TRES 2b reflects less than 1%. This Jupiter-sized gas giant, sitting 750 light-years away in the constellation Draco, is the darkest known planet ever discovered. It absorbs nearly all light that strikes it. If you could somehow fly toward it through space, you wouldn't see it coming. It would be invisible against the black, a void shaped like a planet. Scientists have no complete explanation. The atmosphere contains vaporized sodium, potassium, and gaseous titanium oxide, all light-absorbing chemicals. But even accounting for all of them, the models fall short. Something else is there, something unknown, drinking in the light. But TRES-2b is not entirely pitch black. It orbits its star at a distance of just 5 million kilometers, closer than Mercury is to our Sun. The heat from that proximity pushes surface temperatures above 980 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, the planet glows, a faint deep red. Like a dying coal in an invisible fireplace, the most light it gives back to the universe is the light of its own suffering. Number 9. GJ504b. The pink planet that shouldn't exist. Most planets are gray, beige, or streaked with pale cloud. GJ504b is the color of a dark cherry blossom, a deep, glowing magenta. 57 light-years away in the constellation Virgo. Its color comes from its youth. At roughly 160 million years old, the planet is still radiating the heat left over from its own violent formation, giving it a distinctive pinkish-purple glow visible to direct imaging telescopes. But its appearance is the least strange thing about it. GJ504b orbits its star at 43.5 times the distance between Earth and the Sun. For context, Neptune, the outermost planet in our solar system, orbits at just 30 times that distance. According to the core accretion model, the most widely accepted theory for how gas giants form, a planet this large simply cannot form at this distance. There is not enough raw material that far from the star. The disk of gas and dust would be too thin, too cold, too sparse. And yet, there it is, photographed directly. A pink planet that the laws of planetary formation say should not exist. Number 8. Kepler-16. Boobs, the real Tatooine. In the Star Wars universe, Luke Skywalker stands on the desert world Tatooine and watches two suns set simultaneously on the horizon. For a long time, this was assumed to be pure science fiction. A planet in a stable orbit around two stars simultaneously was considered physically implausible. In 2011, Kepler-16b proved that wrong. Kepler-16b is the first planet ever confirmed to orbit two stars at the same time, what astronomers call a circumbinary orbit. It sits 200 light-years away, and both of its stars are smaller and cooler than our Sun. From its surface, if it had one solid enough to stand on, you would see two suns of noticeably different sizes hanging in the sky. Two sunsets, two sunrises. The orbital mechanics that allow Kepler-16b to exist are extraordinary. The planet sits at a distance where gravitational stability between two competing stellar bodies is possible. Any closer, and the conflicting gravitational pulls would tear it apart or eject it from the system entirely. The universe built the planet that science fiction imagined, and it turns out the galaxy may be full of them. Kepler found several more circumbinary planets after this one. Number 7. TOI-849b. The naked core. Planetary science has a basic assumption built into it. When a planet forms and accumulates enough mass, its gravity captures a thick envelope of hydrogen and helium gas from the surrounding disk. The heavier the planet, the thicker the atmosphere. That is simply how it works. TOI-849b breaks this entirely. TOI-849b has the mass of Neptune. At that mass, it should have a thick, massive atmosphere. multiple layers of gas stretching thousands of kilometers above its surface. Instead, it has almost none. What astronomers are looking at is the raw, exposed core of what should have been a Neptune-class planet. One explanation is that it once had its atmosphere and lost it. TOI 849b orbits its star so closely that a full year takes just 18 hours. At that distance, the radiation from its star could have boiled off the entire gaseous envelope over billions of years, stripping the planet down to its skeleton. Another possibility is stranger. It may never have formed a full atmosphere at all, representing a class of object we didn't know existed. A naked planetary core preserved from the moment of formation, giving us a direct look at what lies beneath the surface of worlds that normally hide their interiors behind thousands of kilometers of gas. Number 6. PSR B1620-26b, the planet from the beginning of time. Our solar system formed 4.5 billion years ago. Earth itself is considered ancient on any human timescale. PSR B1620-26b is 12.7 billion years old. The universe itself is only 13.8 billion years old. This planet formed just over a billion years after the Big Bang, at a time when the cosmos barely had enough heavy elements to build a rocky world. It is the oldest known planet in existence. Astronomers have nicknamed it Methuselah. It doesn't orbit a single stable star like our Sun. It orbits two stellar remnants, a neutron star and a white dwarf, locked in a tight orbit together deep inside the globular cluster M4. These stellar corpses are what remain after two stars exhausted their fuel, exploded, and died. And yet the planet survived. It has watched two stars live and die, billions of years of cosmic history, from the same orbit. If any life had ever existed on this world or anything near it, it would have emerged and evolved at an epoch of the universe so ancient that the stars we see today didn't yet exist. Number 5. 55. Cancri E, the lava world. 55 Cancri E is twice the size of Earth, 8 times its mass, and 40 light-years away. On paper, it is a super-Earth, the category of planets scientists study most closely when searching for potentially habitable worlds. Its surface is a global ocean of magma. The planet orbits its star so closely that a full year lasts only 18 hours. Like our moon, it is tidally locked, one face permanently toward its star, one face permanently turned away into darkness. The dayside surface temperature exceeds 2,500 degrees Celsius, hot enough to vaporize most rock. The result is not solid terrain or ocean. It is a churning global sea of molten lava, continuously boiling and shifting across the entire star-facing hemisphere. The night side drops to around 1,100 degrees Celsius, still hot enough to melt steel, but cool enough for some of that rock to solidify. A permanent boundary between a lava ocean and a scorched dark shore, locked forever into place. James Webb observed 55 Cancri in 2023 and detected signs of an atmosphere, possibly carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. Beneath the fire, this world may have a chemical environment more complex than any world we previously imagined at these temperatures. Number 4. HD 189733b. Death is Blue. If you looked at HD 189733b from a distance, it would look almost beautiful. A deep, vivid cobalt blue, the richest blue of any planet ever photographed. The color of a perfect summer sky, hanging in space 64 light-years away. Getting anywhere near it would be instantly fatal. That blue color isn't water, it's silicate particles, essentially fine glass, suspended in the upper atmosphere, scattering blue light in exactly the way Earth's atmosphere scatters blue light. But these glass particles aren't drifting gently. The wind speed on HD 189733b reaches 8,700 kilometers per hour. That is 7 times the speed of sound on Earth. At those wind speeds, the silicate particles become supersonic projectiles. The glass doesn't fall as rain. It blasts sideways continuously at speeds that would reduce any solid object to dust within seconds of exposure. The temperature on the day side hovers around 1,200 degrees Celsius. The night side is barely cooler. There is no shelter. There is no terrain high enough to break the wind. just an endless global superstorm of superheated glass traveling faster than any object humans have ever deliberately built. The most beautiful planet we've found may also be the most immediately lethal. Number 3. WASP 76b, where iron falls from the sky. On Earth, rain is water. It falls, it pools, it evaporates, it falls again. The water cycle is so fundamental to our understanding of weather that we assume other worlds must have analogs. WASP 76b has one. The precipitation on its night side is liquid iron. This ultra-hot Jupiter sits 640 light-years away. Its day-side temperature exceeds 2,400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to vaporize iron. The metal literally boils off the surface into the atmosphere. Winds traveling at over 18,000 kilometers per hour carry that iron vapor from the scorching day side to the cooler night side, where temperatures drop to around 1,500 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, the iron vapor condenses into liquid droplets and falls. Iron rain, continuous perpetual, covering the entire night side hemisphere. The planet is also nearly twice the diameter of Jupiter, despite having a similar mass. Its atmosphere puffed outward by the immense radiation of its host star. It completes a full orbit in under 2 Earth days. WASP 76b is the clearest example yet found of a planetary weather system so extreme that the distinction between atmosphere and geology begins to dissolve. When the rain is made of metal, the rules of weather we know no longer apply. Number 2. KELT 9b, hotter than stars. The surface of our sun reaches about 5,500 degrees Celsius. There are cooler stars in the galaxy, red dwarfs, orange K-type stars, with surface temperatures below 4,000 degrees. KELT 9b has a dayside temperature of 4,300 degrees Celsius. This gas giant is hotter than many of the stars in the Milky Way. It orbits a star that is itself nearly 10,000 degrees at its surface, roughly twice as hot as our sun, and it orbits that star at a distance so small that a full year passes in just 36 hours. At 4,300 degrees, KELT 9b doesn't just have extreme weather. Its atmosphere is breaking down at the molecular level. The heat is so intense that molecules of hydrogen gas are torn apart into individual atoms on the day side, then cool slightly as they move to the night side, recombine into molecules, and are torn apart again when they swing back into the heat. The entire atmosphere cycles between molecular and atomic states continuously, driven by the sheer temperature difference between the two hemispheres. KELT 9b is also slowly being destroyed. The radiation from its host star is stripping mass from its atmosphere into space. Over billions of years, it will be consumed. A planet that is burning hotter than other suns, being slowly eaten by its own star. The most extreme environment we have yet confirmed in the galaxy. Number 1. Kepler 70b, the closest orbit ever found. Every planet on this list has something that makes it extreme, but Kepler 70b holds a record that puts it in a category entirely by itself. It is the planet with the closest known orbit to any star in the universe. Kepler 70b orbits its host star, a subdwarf B star, at a distance of just 0.006 astronomical units. For comparison, Mercury, our solar system's innermost planet, orbits at 0.39 astronomical units. Kepler 70b orbits nearly 65 times closer to its star than Mercury orbits ours. At that distance, the orbital period is 5.76 hours, not days, hours. The planet completes a full year before half an Earth day has passed. The surface temperature on the day side exceeds 7,000 degrees Celsius. That is hotter than the surface of our sun. The planet isn't just scorched. At these temperatures, any rock, any metal, any material we know of would be fully vaporized. It is possible that Kepler 70b is losing mass at such an extreme rate that it is actively evaporating, being disintegrated by its own orbit. Scientists believe Kepler 70b was once a gas giant that orbited much farther away. When its host star evolved into a subdwarf, it expanded dramatically, and the planet spiraled inward through the expanding stellar envelope, losing most of its mass in the process until it settled in its current impossible orbit. What we are observing may not be a planet at all anymore. It may be the remnant of a planet. the final chapter of a world being erased from the universe in real time, spiraling closer and closer to the surface of its star with every passing orbit.